He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J Loren Norris.
Timing is everything as a leader. Like when you push the right buttons at the right time and you put the right thing on the screen. Timing is everything. And when timing is off, it's obvious to everyone. But there's one time that is not obvious to anyone until it's time. You don't know when it's coming. You don't even know when it's going to be here. You can't look at your smartwatch or your calendar or even Greenwich Mean Time. There's no way to know when due time is here. And that's what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and I know throughout the course of my life there's been a whole lot of things that I waited for. I waited for, well, all of my children to be born. From the time that she said, I think I missed that cycle, to, hey, it's a new daughter or son. It seemed like forever. I mean, it was only 9 months-ish, but it seemed like forever. Even the one that came early, it seemed like forever. And then waiting for them to go to school so we could have a little peace and quiet during the day. It seemed like forever. And then for them to learn to read, and then learn to walk and talk and drive, and learn to go to school on their own, and learn to clean up their room. Still waiting on some of those. Learn to cook for themselves and do their own laundry, pay their own bills, feed themselves. Still waiting on some of those. Still waiting. And I know for some of you right now, you're thinking in leadership, I'm waiting for the people that I lead to just catch up. I keep doing all these things for them. Things that I thought they'd be doing on their own by now. Things that I thought I trained them for. And yet, I'm still doing these things for them, not with them. That's a tough place to be in as a leader. But I'll tell you what's harder. That first opportunity to lead. I know there are some of you watching that you're not yet in a leadership role. You know you're made for it. You know you're called to it. You love to communicate. You love to tell people what to do. You love to be out there in the front as the visionary, the creative, the idea guy or gal, the person with all the new ways of doing things, the innovator, the leading edge. You love that role, but so far you're kind of doing it by yourself. You've written all the blogs and you've shot all the videos and you've become an influencer on social media, or well, you're not yet, but almost soon to be. You're going to be big. You're going to be big one day. And yet it's not yet. I mean, it's coming. It's just not yet. And you hear people say things like, well, you got to pay your dues. It'll happen in due time. Well, it's not like a library book that's due at a certain time to be back, or the bills that are due at a certain time, and if you don't pay them on time, then they just don't, get paid without late fees and interest. It's not that kind of due time. It's not like you can look at the calendar and go, okay, well, my car payment's due at the 1st of the month, but I get till the 5th before they, charge late fees, and then I get till the 15th before they decide to come get it. And so I know what that due time is, and I got to come up with the money by that due time, but that's not what due time is in leadership. See, due time usually comes after a whole lot of patience, a whole lot of perseverance, a whole lot of hard work. I recently received an award for this podcast. I've only been doing it 9 years, over 1,500 episodes before it was nominated for an award. When I won the award, I was extravagantly happy until I realized I was the only one in my category. So it would have been really hard not to give me the award. So yes, I'm flattered that I have the award. And yes, I also realize I worked really hard for a $3 piece of plastic that nobody else in the world cares about. It was all about my kudos. And then I have to wonder, why do I continue to do it? Why am I still doing it? Well, the answer is, it's not due time to stop. I only know that because every time I pray about stopping, I get the answer, not yet. Now, I don't know what due time is to move on to the next thing. I don't know what due time is to be a big success. I don't have 20 million viewers like Joe Rogan or Patrick Bet-David. I don't invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in production and advertising and promotion either. And I don't have A-rated guests that are on the show on a regular basis so that I can use their popularity to spread my message and grow my fame. That's not what I do. But I can tell you this too. There are those who are so determined to shortcut success. They want due time to be within their control. You will be a success in due time. They want that to be right now, yesterday even. Make it 5 minutes ago and I want it with retroactive pay. To the extent, I watched a whole series of these videos last night of TikTokers, some they got 3 million followers on Instagram, and they've got, hundreds of thousands or a million or so on TikTok, and one of them had almost 3 million on Facebook, which is hard to do. But they were shooting their reels of, driving their Lamborghinis and driving their rich, expensive cars and living the high life, and everybody wants to be like them, so everybody watches them. And one of them decided, I'm going to use my wealth and TikTok fame, and I'm going to block a bridge. He basically shut down a community, a major thoroughfare of traffic through a sizable town. And to the extent that the mayor went on social media and went, don't be doing this, people. I don't care how famous you think you are, how much money you think you have. You can't be doing this. And then he got the attention of the local drug cartels. And he had to spend a whole lot of time and money backpedaling and apologizing for his shenanigan. The only purpose of the shenanigan was to boost his numbers. Oh, he got a lot of numbers. He got a lot of people looking. He also got a lot of death threats. He also got to spend a whole lot of money on security to try to keep himself alive. Others who decided to play the same game with the same cartel, they were not so lucky. They made their declarations and proclamations about how powerful and influential they were because of the number of followers they had and the amount of money that generated for them. And they got their ticket punched. Express lane to the next life. Their due time is never coming. They try to accelerate it. They thought if I could use these shortcuts to get a lot of attention, if I could do what it takes to get a lot of eyeballs on me, I will shortcut the process to success. Can I just tell you, there is no shortcut to success that pays off in the end. It's like the old phrase, crime doesn't pay. Well, it seems to for now. I also watched a video about the uncatchable car. The uncatchable car. It was the RA40, I think. It was a car made by Lotus. It looked like a family sedan. Not too different from the WRX made by Subaru. But back in the 90s, it was the only 150-mile-an-hour car on all of the British Islands, and none of the cops could catch it. And so it got away with a lot of shenanigans, breaking and entering and stealing people's stuff and then fleeing from the scene, or carjackings and all kinds of other shenanigans. And they got away with it because there was no cop on the island that could catch them. In all of Great Britain, there was no car for law enforcement that would do 150 miles an hour. And so it was like chasing a ghost. They did find that car one day, though. Parked, kind of. Upside down, in a canal, roof crushed. Yeah, apparently they found due time as well. Crime may have paid for a season, but they paid ultimately with their own lives. They fled so hard to get away from the life that they didn't want to work in, that they expedited their life into the next one. Now, I'm not suggesting that those who want shortcuts and hacks and easy fixes to their problems and solutions, that they're all going to end up shortcutting their life. But I will tell you that it's been my experience, especially in leadership and even in my own life and growth and maturity, my relationship with my bride, which is now pushing 30 years. The hard things take time. The hard things have enormous dividends. The hard things make you a better person. Oh, don't get me wrong. Life sucks. Life is hard. Earning money is not an easy thing. Growing plants, not an easy thing. Raising children, not an easy thing. Building a business, building an empire, leading people. Those are not easy things. And they shouldn't be. Because the reward on the backside is so high. The value of what you're doing demands that you grow along with it. If you've ever known someone who won the lottery, but their life wasn't ready for that kind of money. They got the big promotion, but their life wasn't ready for that kind of money. In fact, I had a conversation recently with a client who said, my problem is we've got all these guys in the sales management category who have been promoted and promoted and promoted, and they just can't lead. They can't manage people. They're horrible communicators. They can't get through to their team. They don't know how to understand the patience or lack of patience for other people on the team. All of them want to go back to sales, and they don't want the lead management job that they've been given. Why is that? I said, well, it's because they're really good at sales, but they're not the kind of person that makes a great leader. That doesn't mean they can't be. It just means they're not yet. What that really means is that if you want a great sales management or leadership team, you should probably start with the people who are great in sales and then begin grooming them to also be great leaders. The communication skills that they use to persuade that make them good, successful salespeople should also be the kind of communication skills they use to lead. But they have to have a different intent. They have to have a better understanding. They have to possess compassion. They have to be humble. They have to be mature. Those things are hard, and they take time. You can't just take a successful sales rep from yesterday who has no maturity, just great numbers, and move them into leadership or management. It's not going to work like that. And the same is true in a lot of other categories. I was listening to someone today say that a friend of his recently won an award for his music. And everybody thinks he was like an overnight success. Well, you've heard me talk about John Maxwell's phrase on that. I became an overnight success, and it only took me 20 years to get here. 20 years of hard work, 20 years of failing over and over, 20 years of things that I thought would become successful that didn't, 20 years of effort, 20 years of sleepless nights, 20 years of putting in the hard work, the 20-hour days, 20 years. And then, suddenly, due time appears. He spoke of his friend who won an award, and everybody said, where did he come from? We didn't know he was around. We hadn't heard anything by him. And then suddenly he's got all these awards and all these songs. And in the first 3 years, he wrote over 300 songs before even one of them was recorded. That's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to write 300 songs. I mean, if you're just writing 150 songs a year, that's one every other day. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of production. That's a lot of sleepless nights. That's a lot of tunes and melodies and words flowing through your head. That takes concentration. That takes focus. That takes intention. Those are hard. Those are hard things. Now, if you think for leadership that you can rise up one morning and all of a sudden 1 million people are going to follow you, if you think for a moment that your 1 million followers on TikTok would follow you into war, you're delusional. Watched the movie Napoleon this week. There's a scene when Napoleon comes back from his first exile on the island of Melba, and when he is confronted by an entire regiment of soldiers, guns aimed at him, general's command, that if he moves, take him out. He pulls back his jacket and reveals his infantry award for all the times that he's been in battle as a soldier before he became a commander, before he became emperor. And it reminds them, I was there, right beside you. I drew my sword. I wiped the blood off my face of the enemy. I dug out from under the dead bodies myself. I've been there. I know what you're going through. And I'm just asking, do you love this country as much as I do? And suddenly, an entire regiment of battle-hardened warriors laid down their arms and ran to hug a man that had been in the trenches with them. That's a little different than a TikTok follower. It's a little different level of loyalty, a little different level of leadership, a little different level of effort. And I'm not saying that building 1 million followers on TikTok is easy. I haven't done it. Obviously, I don't know how. But to think that that kind of leadership is world-changing is a different thing. Oh, you might turn them into customers. You might turn them into dollars and cents, because if there's that many people watching, they will buy something. But if you think that 1 million followers on TikTok is leadership, I would ask you if you were leading before you had 1 million followers, or if you just think having 1 million followers makes you a leader. I think they're different. I really do. Now, there are leaders out there who are followed, people who have made impact and influence in people's lives. I would put Jordan Peterson in that category of someone who has impacted people on a one-on-one and in large crowds and for a long period of time, and for 35 years as a professor and a psychologist, and he kind of knows his stuff. And if there are 1 million people following him on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, his words to them mean a lot. But so has his effort. What he's put in to earn the degrees that he has, to put up with the political harassment that he has, to be the kind of person that he is, to struggle with his diet, with his daughter, with his wife through life. It's due time. His success has not been short-lived, and nor did it come quickly. It appeared all of a sudden, but it took a whole lot of hard work to get to that place. I'm going to tell you, as a leader, due time is imminent. Unless you try to shortcut it. If you try to shortcut it, you might get something else. You might get no time. You might get the end time. But due time is coming. It's probably going to take a little longer than you thought. It's probably going to cost a little more than you wanted. It's probably going to be a little harder than you expected. But the reward will be much sweeter. The success will be much more long-lived. Not like winning the lottery and being broke the next week, but like coming into your own in that place where everything you've done has paid off, where all the toil, the blood, sweat, and tears, the late hours, the sleepless nights, the perpetual study, when it all comes to fruition and suddenly everyone recognizes what you've done, then everything that you've invested will bear fruit. And you will realize in that moment, this is my due time. Keep plowing, keep digging. You've all seen the photos or the memes of the two guys digging through the diamond mine, and one stops 6 inches away and the other one enjoys the harvest of all of these diamonds. And the difference is he didn't quit. Don't quit. It's not time to quit. It's time to persevere, because due time is not on the other side of quitting. Due time is on the other side of patience and perseverance and hard work. If you want to succeed as a leader, it's coming in due time. Just nobody knows when due time is. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Lauren is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Lauren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Lauren will serve you well.
Thank you.